Guys, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. All right, guys. So we have excellent news regarding AT&T. Gotta say that this actually took me by surprise, and I'm sure it's taking many of you by surprise just looking at the title here. All right. I'll be sure to link this article down below in the description for you guys in case you want to read more of it on your own. But I'm going to read the whole article. All right. And then we're going to talk a little bit about it, because this is excellent news, and there's a couple of things that I want to touch on here. It's very important for me to discuss this about how I feel about the whole situation here. So AT&T tops free cash flow estimates on cost cuts subscriber additions. All right, so AT&T on Wednesday handily, okay, keyword handily, beat estimates for second quarter free cash flow as efforts to lower costs and attract wireless monthly paying subscribers with cheaper plans paid off. So the telecom firm posted free cash flow of $4.2 billion in 3 months that ended in June, compared with analysis estimates of $3.60 billion, according to Visible Alpha. So the results marked an improvement from the first quarter and showed the benefits of a cost-cutting plan that helped shave off more than $1 billion in operating expenses during the reported period through measures such as reduction in office locations. So the company said on Wednesday it had achieved its $6 billion cost-cutting goal ahead of schedule and was now targeting another $2 billion plus over the next 3 years. A lower cost bill is crucial for AT&T as it needs a steady flow of cash to service its net debt of $132 billion and support a dividend that is among the highest for U.S. stocks. So meanwhile, AT&T did not comment on the lead-clad cables in its statement. Its shares had come under pressure after the Wall Street Journal reported on July 9th that AT&T and Verizon were among telecom operators that abandoned a sprawling network of lead-clad cables, which might have contaminated water and soil. The company added 326,000 postpaid phone subscribers in the second quarter, in line with the low 300,000s prediction provided by finance chief Pascal Desroches at a conference in June. That figure was nearly 60% lower than a year earlier. So growth in the highly competitive U.S. telecom market has slowed dramatically after the pandemic, forcing companies to offer cheaper plans to attract customers in an uncertain economy. So AT&T said revenue rose 0.9% to $29.9 billion, in line with the estimates of $29.994 billion, according to Refinitiv data. All right, so that's the article. So it's very important to know that they've made some drastic cuts, right? The article touches on that. We've here at this channel done many news reports about some cutting back, some office reduction, employee reduction. So these are all things that are allowing AT&T to make, profits and have extra cash flow. So obviously, we read about how there was going to be a number of employees that were probably going to be offered an opportunity to either relocate or leave the company. So with situations like that, I'm sure many have already left due to not being able to relocate. So there was a lot of money being saved on no salaries there. There's a lot of offices that were closed, including retail locations that were closed. Okay. And then there was some plan adjustments. AT&T has upgraded its prepaid plans and made them a lot more attractive. In my opinion, I think they look pretty good now. They're offering a lot more data for the price. Okay. So you're getting some better plans. And I think what's really important here to touch on is that AT&T has not been completely focused on the wireless game due to the amount of debt that they have accumulated over the years. Okay, there's a lot of debt. It's a lot to shake off. And the market in wireless has been extremely competitive, as the article suggests, and as we're well aware of. It's getting deeper and deeper for these carriers. Each carrier is looking for a way to maintain a positive cash flow while still keeping subscribers satisfied. It's a very difficult thing to do in today's economy. there's a lot of things standing in their way, okay? So their costs for goods are going up. Their employees need raises, okay? There's a lot of structuring that needs to be put in place, okay, within the company itself. There's marketing costs. And then there's just the simple fact that people are just not spending as much for a number of reasons, okay? One of the reasons is, many consumers just don't have the money they had 2 or 3 years ago before the pandemic. Maybe job loss, maybe a higher, cost of bills. Maybe they had to move. There's so many things, okay, that stand in the way here that could be of reason to why Americans are just not spending the money that they were spending, okay? Then there's the fear of not having enough money in the bank. So people are just cutting costs, whether they need to or not. They're just being extra cautious because, hey, who knows, right? Maybe they won't have a job tomorrow, or they will have an unexpected bill that they didn't have the money put away for. So these are all things that come into play, and it makes it difficult for these carriers to make money. So what this does show, though, is that with the little bit of effort that they did put in to the wireless side, it shows that how strong that they actually are, that they're able to make this much profit with doing some readjusting. Sadly enough, it also shows how much profit they could make if they got rid of more retail locations. If they if they sold mostly online, okay, and they did eliminate more customer service reps and replace them with chatbots, it would be a scary future, and it would be distasteful, in my opinion. It would basically go against everything a carrier like AT&T ever went for, a more personalized wireless carrier. But it just shows when you tighten the belt how much money can be saved. And think about it. If they're able to just make some adjustments on the plans and then, cut back on staffing, offer, have less retail locations that probably aren't being used anyway. They're saving money on rent. They're saving money on having to staff those locations, benefits, salaries, all these things. So massive amounts of money get saved. So that's the thing here, right? So that's a thing that like these wireless carriers are going to be faced to make a decision on at some point in their time. Maybe not right away, but within the next, 5 to 10 years, probably something we'll start to see, maybe sooner, because it's just more cost effective for them. And, to be honest, most consumers you'll get the same service. You just won't have a store to go into, or as many stores to go into. So that personalized experience will no longer be there, but the service will still be there. It'll still work good. It'll be similar to how Visible operates. There's no stores, but you can get on a chatbot. You can, most of the time, get to somebody fairly quickly, okay, and get all your answers, get all your questions answered in a timely manner. Get your devices switched out or returned or whatever. Customer service is usually fairly helpful there. And that's basically a route that they can go to save even more money. But not happening now as far as we know, so we can enjoy that personalized experience. But it also goes to show that many people still trust AT&T, and that's what makes them AT&T. They're legendary. They've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing when it comes to wireless. And I really do think that that whole thing with the 5G and trying to be the best at it, I think they've kind of lost some interest in that. If anything, I think like they'll do it because that's just what they have to do now. 5G is something they committed to, and they have to follow through. Okay, there's going to be fines to pay if they don't. They have requirements to meet, but I don't think it's a rat race for them anymore. I think that they've decided that it's not that important. What really matters is providing a strong, positive network. So positive cash flow, positive service for the customers, having the subscribers happy and satisfied is something that I think that when they return to wireless, they'll probably look at it from that angle. I don't see that hunger in that 5G race anymore for them. Like when discussions of 5G first came out, okay, they were the first to try to advertise that they had 5G when we all know that they didn't. And it was because they were fiending. They were desperately trying to get subscribers, and they were willing to do anything. So that is where I think they kind of went wrong. I think that they shouldn't have done that. They're not the only ones to have done that. They were all, speculating about how good their 5G network was when it was all still in the early stages and much work was needed. But, personally talking about AT&T, that's something they shouldn't have done. They should have, took it easy and just not went over their heads when they basically bit more than they could chew by doing that. And I think that was one of the things they did wrong. So hopefully now the focus should be eliminating the debt, or at least cutting it down to a good amount that it's not so bad that they could actually start to do more deployments and just focus on building that good AT&T quality that everybody knows and trusts, because it's a great, reliable network. And there's no reason to walk around saying you have the best 5G network. At the end of the day, the Ookla, the open signal, those results are fun to look at, but it's not really what matters. Dependency, reliability, opening your phone, making calls, being able to get service in the most difficult places that service is usually limited, sending messages, using your maps, okay, doing a little web searching when you need to, again, where service is limited, where you're unlikely to get it. That's one of the things AT&T does best. Okay, they offer that reliability. Far away from city areas, you can usually get some kind of service. So that's one of the things that I like about AT&T. It's also one of the things that I like about Verizon. Those are the two big carriers that can offer that reliability in rural areas where service is limited. And T-Mobile is an amazing network. I absolutely love T-Mobile. Like I said, my daily driver, but some work needed on the reliability. Okay, I will never talk bad about T-Mobile as far as service, because they're not bad, but they could be better. Okay, there's some work to be done. And AT&T, great network. I just think that that's what their mission should be, and I hope that that's what their mission is. When they do return to wireless, just focus on building a good, strong network. Take your time, do it right, get the deployments out. You will grow your subscriber base, because at the end of the day, you can talk as much as you want about how well built you are and how great you are, and you might get away with it for a little. But when the results come out, when testing is done, people are going to listen. They're going to look and they're going to say, well, if you're the best, then why don't you ever work anywhere I go? Or why is it whenever I leave the city, why do you cut out? Why, when I step into a building, you drop to one bar or sometimes no bars, and then when you're AT&T and you still have that one or two bars and it works, it actually works. This is what people are going to depend on, not to mention all the businesses that rely on AT&T as well. They trust it. And there's a lot of accounts that can be made with businesses that they already are getting. Okay. They've just topped number one customer service for business wire. A lot of businesses trust AT&T. That's another thing that we just did a news report on the other day. A lot of people trust AT&T. A lot of businesses rely on it. They've been around for a long time. They're not new to this. Okay. They're not new to this game. It's just, they've made some mistakes trying to be, too hip for their own good at some point. They were trying too hard to be too relevant, okay? And competing with T-Mobile. And let's be honest, like T-Mobile gave AT&T and Verizon a run for their money, okay? Gave them a run for their money. When they came out with that whole Un-carrier thing, that had AT&T and Verizon shaking because they removed taxes and all kinds of fees. And AT&T and Verizon were breaking a sweat because they're like, we don't want to do that. Like we're such a very large company. If we do that, it's going to eat into all of our profit, and it was just too complicated, for them to compete with that, and they were getting very nervous. And that's part of why AT&T, especially when T-Mobile was like, oh, now we have the best 5G network, AT&T is like, no, you're going to take everybody from us. We can't allow this. They were getting scared. And it's just because when there's a good deal, people are willing to try it. So even if you love AT&T and you think they're a great service, at the end of the day, if T-Mobile's half as good and it's half as cheap, or, it's a better price, should I say, at least by a good amount of money, which it was at the time, and then there's no taxes and fees. Everybody hates paying taxes on any kind of service, okay? It's terrible. It's annoying. It's a waste. It stinks. You could save $15 per line by doing that, by getting rid of those taxes. So, who's blaming the people that did go to T-Mobile and left AT&T and Verizon over that reason? Of course, people want to save money. Even 10 years ago, people had that mind frame, and even more now with things so expensive as they are. So, don't want to make this video super, super long. It's already long enough, but I just felt like this is an important discussion because this is a great accomplishment for AT&T, number one. Also, there's some things that we could be looking at in the future with these carriers. Like I said, maybe automating more. This just proves, cutting some of these offices and whatnot. They saved a lot of money by doing that. Adjusting the plans is always a great thing, usually. But, also, a wish list for AT&T, like what I'd like to see them do. Just when you do come back and you focus more on wireless, just build a good network. Take your time. You don't have to prove nothing. The subscribers that are already there, as long as you don't mess with the service and make it worse, they're not going to leave. As long as you don't do anything crazy like supercharge the pricing and, skyrocket the prices on your plans, people won't leave. So, and then just keep doing that good service. Maybe market a little bit better, but be honest. Don't lie. Don't talk about having the best or fastest 5G network, because we already know AT&T has never been the fastest. It's not about speed with them. It's about quality, reliability. They're just not the fastest. They're not going to give you that. They just won't give it to you. I believe that they could give you those speeds. I think they throttle it a bit because it's cost effective for them. But, it is what it is. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Do me a favor. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Also, turn on your notification bell. This way you guys get notified whenever we drop a new video. This way you don't miss any new reports. We do our best to get them out as fast as we can, but, it's not always that easy. So, all right, guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.